will be sending you the recorded video. Okay, the link I will be sending you. You can download it through YouTube, and I will be uploading this lecture video in YouTube, and I will be sharing you the YouTube link. It will be easy for you to download. Okay, so today we will be looking into the fundamentals of AC circuits. What you already have studied in previous section or previous module was the fundamentals of AC with respect to the generation, how the AC is generated, with respect to the characterization, that is what are the attributes of AC like frequency, amplitude, and you have studied about the representation, that is how AC is represented in the form of a vector. Okay, so this already you have gone through in the previous section or previous module. This module, the application of AC to the most primitive circuits. Primitive circuits are the one which contains the resistive element, inductive element, and capacitive element, and combination of this. Okay, what if there is a combination of R and L? What if the combination of R and C? What is the combination with RLC? What is the solution when we connect these three in series? When these will come in combination of parallel branches, how we should approach the solution analysis? These all things we will look into this module in the first part. Second part of this module is dealing with three-phase circuits. Okay, so what are the three-phase circuits? How the three-phase generated, how it is analyzed, how it is understood, and how it is applied. Okay, so these things we will be covering in this module, and the time given is 5 lectures in this. I will best try to fit this in 5 lectures. Because it is repetition, I thought we can simply brush the things, and along with this you will be getting the detailed video lecture on this module. Okay, detailed video lecture, not this brush up video lecture. Brush up video lecture also I will pass, detailed video lecture also I will pass, because in the previous semester already we have taken basic electrical engineering for your batchmates who were in physics cycle previous sem, no sorry, this sem. In parallel to you people, you are in chemistry cycle. So the recorded video lectures are there. I will be passing all those video lectures of mine which are dealt on the board. Okay, hope those will be useful for you people for this module. Okay, and today I will start with the pure R, L and C circuits. Okay, so I will share a PPT. The PPT I have tried to follow the classroom onboard or chalk and talk method only in PPT. Okay, because of lesser arrangements in my room for the complete onboard video lecture, today I could not do that. From next class onwards, I will follow the blackboard or whiteboard session. Okay, so I will share a screen. Please acknowledge whether the screen sharing is proper or not. Is the screen visible? PPT is visible?
Yes, sir.
Please acknowledge. Please respond whether the PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead then. So this is the lecture on R, L and C circuit, that is pure R, pure L and pure C circuit. Okay. This lecture will deal with pure R, pure L and pure C circuits. Okay. I already introduced myself. Okay. We'll go ahead with the next. Okay. So first circuit what we see is pure resistive circuit. Okay. So pure resistive circuit will consist of only a resistance and a source. This is the most simple circuit in the electrical circuit analysis. Okay, what we are dealing is circuit analysis part. So this is the most simple circuit wherein there is only one resistive component and there is only one source. Okay, and there is only one branch in the entire circuit and only one current flows. So the most simplest circuit of all. So this is pure resistive circuit. So this pure resistive circuit, I will apply a sinusoidal voltage of Em sin omega t. We know that in the previous section you have studied how the equation of sine voltage or sinusoidal voltage is E equal to Em sin omega t, where Em indicates the maximum value of the sine wave. Okay, sine omega t indicates the nature of the voltage, which is sinusoidal. Omega t indicates the angle in radians or degrees, where omega is the angular frequency, t is the time in seconds. Okay, so let me name this as equation 1 because I need to analyze the circuit with respect to equations mathematically. Okay, so let the applied voltage to the circuit is E equal to Em sin omega t. I am applying a sinusoidal voltage, and the source may be a simple oscillator. Okay, it can be a simple oscillator which will generate sinusoidal oscillations. Okay, now the current I in the circuit is the result of application of this voltage. So when I apply the voltage to any circuit, the current is bound to flow provided if the circuit is closed. If the circuit is a closed path, the current will flow through this, and the current is given as I, okay, which is also a sinusoidal current. So whatever the nature of voltage I give, then same nature of current I get. Okay, so the current is given by Ohm's law. So as per the Ohm's law, the current can be written as I equal to E by R. Very simple. I equal to E by R. And I know what is E. Now E is Em sin omega t. So what will be my current? Current I will be equal to Em sin omega t divided by the resistance R. Okay. Or I can write this Em by R. See, Em is maximum voltage of the sinusoidal waveform. R is the circuit parameter, that is resistance. So my resistance will not change because resistance is a circuit parameter, and circuit parameters are all always kept constant in any analysis. So my resistance is constant, and I am applying a voltage of sinusoidal nature with the maximum value of Em. With the maximum value of Em, I get some current which is equal to I. And the nature of current is also sinusoidal. So from the nature of the voltage, I told the current is sinusoidal. From the equation of the current, it is observed the current is sinusoidal. Because I equal to something sin omega t. What is that something? We will look into. Okay. So this I equal to something sin omega t. So when there is sin omega t term coming in any equation, that equation represent a sinusoidal quantity. Therefore, this equation is representing current, and current is sinusoidal in nature, and is given by I equal to Im sin omega t, and this Im I will write it as Em by R. Maximum voltage by resistance gives maximum current because resistance is remaining constant. If voltage is 0, current is 0. If voltage is maximum, current is maximum. If voltage is negative, current is negative. So what nature the voltage follows, the same nature we get of the current. So therefore, I can write Im equal to Em by R. Em is maximum voltage divided by the constant resistance. Therefore, I will get a constant maximum value of the current. So Im is equals to Em by R, and I equal to Im sin omega t. So I can observe here that equation 1 represents the voltage, equation 2 represents the current. It is also sin omega t. This is also sin omega t. Im and Em depending upon the nature of the whether voltage or current. So sin omega t and sin omega t, you observe here, the phase angle of voltage is 0. The phase angle of current is also 0. So the phase angle difference between voltage and current is 0. So from equation 1 and 2, what I can observe is there is no phase angle difference between the voltage and current. There is no phase angle difference between the voltage and current. Therefore, I can say very confidently that current and voltages are in phase. In phase quantities, what is phase? You have defined already what is phase. Phase is nothing but the angle through which the rotating vector representing the alternating quantity rotates through from the reference axis. Now I have taken voltage at reference axis. Reference axis is always positive x-axis. Reference axis is always positive x-axis. So I assume that, or I consider that this voltage vector, when if I represent this voltage by a vector, that vector will lie on positive x-axis directing towards positive x direction. And when I observe the equation of current here, this is also having zero phase angle initially. So the phase difference between voltage and current is zero. Hence, my phase, the current I can say as it is in phase with the voltage. So voltage and current are in phase. Now suppose I have this voltage vector. We know that this direction is positive x direction. And whenever you draw a vector diagram, you should keep it in mind that there should be arrow mark. Without arrow mark, that is not the vector diagram. Because if the arrow mark is missing, the direction of the vector is missing. And if the direction of the vector is missing, that quantity doesn't remain vector. Because what is vector? Vector is a quantity having magnitude as well as direction. Now, if the direction is missing, then my nature of the quantity is changing. It may be a scalar. Instead of vector, it may appear scalar. So therefore, whenever you draw the vector diagram, you should take care. You should make sure that you will be pointing an arrow mark, and the arrow mark or arrowhead indicate whether this is a positive vector or negative vector. If the arrow mark is reversed, if arrow mark comes towards left, it is a negative vector. It is lying on a negative x-axis. Okay. Now, if I have to draw the current vector with respect to voltage, now I got to know that from equation 1 and 2 that current is in phase with voltage. So it means that the vector of current will lie on the vector of voltage. The vector of current will lie on the vector of voltage. Now the assumed positive direction of vector is anticlockwise. Assumed positive direction of vector is anticlockwise. Okay. So when the vector diagram has to be drawn, first I should be deciding what is the assumed positive direction of the vectors. By default, it is anticlockwise. So I will be drawing all the vector diagrams with respect to the direction of anticlockwise direction. Okay. So this is the vector diagram for this circuit, indicating that the voltage and current are in phase. In phase means either the two vectors will be parallel to each other or two vectors will be lying on each other. Okay. Either two vectors will be parallel to each other or two vectors will be lying on each other. Okay. So this diagram shows that the current and voltage are in phase. Okay, the current and voltage are in phase. Next, what is the power consumed? The instantaneous power consumed by the circuit is simple, E into I. Okay, voltage into current. The instantaneous power consumed by the circuit is E into I, that is voltage into current. When I am taking as instantaneous voltage, is my presentation visible and audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the instantaneous power is given by E into I, where E equal to Em sin omega t, I equal to Im sin omega t. So I can write it as Em Im sin square omega t. Simple. But I have a formula for sin square omega t, that is 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Okay. So I will substitute sin square omega t equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2, and I will open this bracket. And in this simplification of power, I will get 2 terms. Okay. I will get 2 terms here. One is Em Im by 2. Second is Em Im by 2 into cos 2 omega t. Now we have to decide what is the exact equation of power, or should I keep it as it is? If I keep it as it is, what is the problem? Okay, if I should not keep it as it is, which term should be taken out, why it should be taken out? Now one thing we should be knowing, that power is a scalar quantity. Power is not a vector. Okay, whether it is electrical power, mechanical power, whatever power, power is always a scalar quantity. It do not have direction. Okay, it do not have direction. Now this equation is consisting of one scalar quantity and one vector quantity. Okay, this equation is consisting of one scalar quantity and vector quantity. Now which is scalar, which is vector? We know that Em Im by 2 is a term which is constant unless I vary the magnitude of the voltage. Okay, why it is constant? Because see, Em is a maximum value. So for any given supply voltage, maximum value will not change, it will be same. And what is Im? Im is obtained from Em by R. Em is constant, R is constant, so Im is also constant. So Em and Im both are constant, and the term, first term of the equation represent a constant term which is scalar in nature. Whereas second term, you observe it has got cos function. What is cos function? It is cosinusoidal. The nature of cos is also sinusoidal, but it is cosinusoidal. The sine wave will start at 0 with 0 value. At t equal to 0, sine will start from 0, whereas cos will start from 1. Cos 0 is 1, sine 0 is 0. If you draw a cosine wave and a sine wave, the nature will be same. Both are sinusoidal only. Cos is nothing but cosinusoidal. It is coexisting like sinusoidal waveform. Cos is not a different function. Cos is not a different function. Cos is existing cosinusoidally. The difference between cos and sine is only 90 degrees. 90 degree plus of sine is cos, 90 degree minus of sine is cos. Plus and minus, that it is a trigonometric this one. But nature, I am talking about the nature. So nature of cos function is also sinusoidal because it is cosinusoidal. Second term, and sinusoidal, we already have defined sine wave as a vector in our previous section. So second term represent a vector. Now when a equation is representing power which is a scalar, what is the function of a vector in that equation? It is an odd man in. So I should take odd man out. Vector is an odd man in the equation of a scalar. When power is scalar, the equation representing the power should consist only of scalar terms. If there are any vectors present due to any mathematical analysis, that vector term can be directly discarded, can be directly neglected, can be directly thrown out or taken out. So because power is scalar and second term of the equation is vector, the work of this term in this equation is nothing. I will eliminate it. I will simply discard it. So the equation of power becomes P equal to Em Im by 2. Okay. Or I can rewrite it as Em by root 2, Im by root 2, or E into I, where E and I are RMS values. E and I are RMS values. So the power consumed by the resistance is P equal to E into I. That is the RMS value of voltage into RMS value of current. So this is the total power consumed by the resistance. So we know that whatever the power we are giving from source to the resistance, completely it is consumed by the resistance. Power consumed by the resistance means what? That power is drawn from the source and gets converted into the heat. Power consumed is nothing but work done. Now, what is the work done by the resistor? A resistor always dissipates heat. So that is the work of a resistor. The work of a resistor is to carry the current and produce heat. That is the work. So the work done by resistor is complete. Whatever the complete power I am giving from source to this resistor, it is getting transferred into heat. So complete work is been done there. Okay. So power consumed by the resistor is P equal to V into I. So whatever power I am giving from source to resistor, it is consuming it. So complete power consumption occurs in R circuit. Okay. When I see the waveform, you can see here. This is the supply voltage, sinusoidal nature of 360 degrees period, 90 degree, 180 degree, 270, 360. Okay, so this is supply voltage. Now, the current is in phase with voltage. In the previous slide, the current vector and voltage vector were in phase. So current is in phase with voltage. So therefore, current, this is the current waveform. Okay, this I indicates current, E indicates voltage. So current is in phase with voltage. What does in phase means? The phase angle of both the quantities is same. There is no phase angle difference. If voltage is starting at 0, current will also start at 0. Voltage is reaching maximum at 90, current is reaching maximum at 90. It is completing its first cycle at 180, current is also completing first cycle at 180. Okay, so this indicates the in phase quantities, that is current and voltage. And the power, okay, current, voltage, current into voltage is power. Okay, please don't make mistake in drawing the power with a negative elongated cycle, because minus voltage into minus current will be plus power. Okay, so not minus power, it is not amplifier, it is multiplier. Okay, so voltage into current is power. So voltage into current is power. So minus E into minus I is plus P. So if you consider the average power over a cycle, because after 360 degrees, the same thing repeats itself for infinite time. If you take the average power over positive, over a cycle is always positive. It means that there is a power flow from the source to the resistor. So resistor is continuously consuming power from the source, which is equals to P equal to V into E into I. So this is all about pure resistive circuit. This is all about pure resistive circuit. Okay. So next comes pure inductive circuit. Okay, or pure inductance. You can call pure inductive circuit, pure inductance, pure L circuit, all are same. Okay, all are one and the same. So next is pure inductance circuit. Same, pure inductance means resistor is replaced by inductor. So pure inductor contains only one pure inductance. Pure inductance means what? The inductor wire will not have any resistance. That inductance, see, inductor is made up of wire only. Okay, inductor is made up of wire. It will be, the wire is turned in the form of a coil that will give some inductance. Okay, and inductance is the property of a wire or a coil which has to be induced during fabrication process of the wire. Okay, so with various fabricating techniques, I can make any wire inductive, I can make any wire resistive. Okay, so that is how the inductance of a particular coil will be provided as its nature. Okay, so it is not that every wire which is wound in the form of a coil is an inductance. The best example is your rheostat. In basic electrical laboratory, you have used rheostats in the KVL KCL experiment. Okay, so those rheostats are pure resistive wires. Though the resistive wire, or though the wire on that rheostat is wound in the form of a coil on the cylinder. Okay, I hope you can visualize that rheostat now. So the wire what is wound on the cylinder of that rheostat is pure resistance. Though that wire is wound in the form of a coil, it is not inductance. Because during the fabrication of that wire, I did not make the wire inductive. I made the wire resistive. Now take the incandescent bulb. Incandescent bulb, the filament what you observe, it is like in the form of a coil, spring, coiled spring. It appears as a coil, but it is pure resistance. The inductance of the incandescent bulb is zero. It is a pure resistive element. So the inductance of any wire can be obtained at the time of fabrication process only. Later I cannot have it. Okay. So whenever I am fabricating a wire, if I make it very large inductive, and if practically if it is possible to make the resistance of that wire zero, then that coil will be considered as pure inductance. But practically I cannot make the resistance of any wire zero. Hence, finding pure inductance in practice is not possible. Some small value of resistance is always present. Okay. Now we'll move ahead. So to this inductance, I will be applying a sinusoidal voltage again. Okay, I will be applying a sinusoidal voltage. Now, when I apply sinusoidal voltage, a current is flowing into this inductance, and the nature of this current is also sinusoidal. I told in the previous circuit, what nature of voltage I give, that nature of current I get. If the voltage is DC, I get a DC current. If the voltage is AC, I get AC current. If the voltage is square wave, current is a square wave. If the voltage is triangular wave, current is triangular wave. If the voltage is sine wave, current is sine wave. So the current is also sinusoidal in nature. Okay, by understanding. Now when this current is flowing through the inductance, now I have one property of inductance. What is the inductance do? Whenever inductance is nothing but an electromagnet. Inductance is nothing but an electromagnet. So when current flows through that inductance, immediately it will create flux around it. When the current flows through inductance, immediately it will create flux around it. Now there is a flux produced. Okay, so this will produce the flux here. These are the flux lines. This will produce the flux. Sorry, only 1 phi. Okay. It will produce flux. Now, the nature of current is sinusoidal. Nature of flux should also be sinusoidal. So the nature of flux is also sinusoidal. What the nature of voltage I have, that nature of current I get. What nature of current I have, that nature of flux I get. Now, there are flux lines here which are sinusoidal in nature. Sinusoidal nature means what? They are alternating, they are changing, they are varying. Okay. So when the alternating flux is surrounding this coil, this flux is linking this coil. This flux is linking this coil. Therefore, whenever the flux linking to the conductor or a coil changes, an EMF is induced. This is as per Faraday's law. As per Michael Faraday's law, whenever the flux linking to a coil or a conductor or a circuit changes, an EMF is induced in that. Okay. So therefore, as the nature of current is sinusoidal, nature of flux is also sinusoidal, hence an EMF is induced in this coil. Now, how much EMF is induced in this coil? The magnitude of induced EMF is proportional to d phi by dt. The magnitude of induced EMF is proportional to d phi by dt. Okay, and how much flux is produced here? What is the amount of flux? The amount of flux produced. Okay, the amount of flux produced is always proportional to the current. The amount of flux produced is always proportional to the current. Or I can write this flux phi is equals to L into I. Flux phi is equals to L into I. So pardon me for this, excuse me for this on-screen writing. Okay, I am doing it by mouse, so it may not be that much beautiful, but concept is important. Now, this flux is equal to L into I. So the amount of EMF induced here is equals to d phi by dt. or d Li by dt. That is the amount of EMF. But once I observe here, there is no other element present in this pure circuit. Therefore, the total EMF induced by the coil is equal to the supply voltage. So the EMF induced in this inductance is equal to the EMF that is given by the supply voltage. But the direction of induced EMF will be opposite to that of supply voltage as per the Lenz law. Because by the nature, anything that is getting induced electromagnetically will oppose its own cause. So the cause of production of this EMF is the current, and the cause of current is voltage. So therefore, this induced EMF will oppose the voltage. So therefore, this E dash is taken to be opposite to that of E. Okay. So supply voltage is E equal to M sin omega t, and the induced EMF E dash is given as minus L di by dt. So d phi by dt, okay, phi equal to L into I. In between I can write it as equals to, or E dash equals to d phi by dt. Now substitute phi equal to L into I. L is a constant, okay, inductance, self-inductance of the coil. So L is constant, it will come out, it will be di by dt. Minus sign for this equation is due to Lenz law. As per the Lenz law, it is opposing. So induced EMF, E dash is equal to minus L di by dt, which is equal to minus E. Because there is no any other element in the circuit, whatever the EMF induced in the coil is exactly equals to the supply voltage. Okay, so I can write E equal to L di by dt. Now I want the current. I want to know what is the value of current. So I can take di equals to 1 over L E into dt. Di equals to 1 over L E into dt. Okay. If I want to get I should integrate. Okay. I have a derivative, but I want a parameter which is in its form. So I should be integrating it. Okay. I should be integrating it. So I equals to 1 over L di by dt. I equal to 1 over L E d integration 1 over L E dt. So E is equal to M sin omega t. Differentiate M sin omega t with respect to t. So what I get is 1 over L. Em is also constant. It will come out minus Em upon L cos omega t by omega. So integration of sin omega t is, or integration of sin theta is minus cos theta. Now I have sin omega t difference integrating with respect to dt. So it will be minus cos omega t by omega. Okay. So I will rewrite the equation as it is minus Em by omega L cos omega t. Okay. Now this cos omega t minus cos omega t I have. Okay. So this cos omega t I will write it as 90 minus sine of 90 minus omega t. So cos theta is sine of 90 minus theta. Cos theta is sine of 90 minus theta. Okay. I have this minus sign here. If I take this minus sign inside the sinusoidal function, okay, this is minus sine or minus Em by omega L minus sine 90 minus omega t. What is minus sine theta? It is sine of minus theta. So I will use that relation. So minus sine 90 minus omega t, I will write it as plus sine omega t minus 90. Sine omega t minus 90. Okay. So Em by omega L, I will write it as Im. Em by omega L, I will write it as Im. Im is equal to Em by omega L, which is 2 pi FL or Em by XL. Okay. Where XL is inductive reactance. XL is inductive reactance. Okay. So inductive reactance is taken analogous to the resistance in ohms. So therefore it is measured in ohms here. So inductive reactance is similar to resistance in the circuit. Okay. Now observe equation 2 and equation 1. Now equation 2 when I compare it with equation 1 is having a term sine omega t. Equation 2 is having a term sine omega t minus 90. It means that the phase angle difference between the two is now not zero. There is some phase angle between current and voltage. And because it is omega t minus 90, okay, I say the phase angle difference is 90 degrees, it is evident. But what omega t minus 90 indicates is this current is 90 degrees behind the voltage. This current is 90 degrees behind the voltage, or I can say that the current in pure inductance circuit is lagging behind voltage by an angle 90 degrees. The current in pure inductance circuit is lagging behind voltage by an angle 90 degrees. Okay, that is given by this vector diagram. So this indicates E, which is the reference vector I have considered, because voltage I am taking it as reference in this circuit, and I am knowing what is the relation of current with respect to this voltage, because I know the amount of voltage what I am applying, but I don't know what is the amount of current what it is flowing. That depends upon the circuit parameter. Therefore, I am taking voltage as reference, and I want to know what is the current with respect to voltage. So from this equation 2, I can observe that comparing it with equation 1, the current is lagging behind the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. So current is behind the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. And already I told the vectors are rotating in anti-clockwise direction. Hence, voltage vector comes first, current vector comes later. Okay. So this is the phasor relation of voltage and current in pure inductive circuit. Okay. So remember one thing, in pure inductive circuit, current lags behind voltage by an angle exactly 90 degrees. Okay. So next, the instantaneous power is again given by P equal to E into I. Simple. P equal to E into I, where E equal to M sin omega t, I equal to Im sin omega t minus 90. Okay, equal to M sin omega t and I equal to Im sin omega t minus 90. Now what I will do, I got this sin omega t minus 90 degrees from minus cos omega t. I will substitute sin omega t minus 90 as minus cos omega t. Because I got this from minus cos omega t only, is it? From our previous analysis. So I will write this sin omega t minus 90 as minus cos omega t, and this equation will become minus Im sin omega t cos omega t. And we know that sin 2 theta is equals to 2 sin theta cos theta, or cos theta sin theta is equals to 1 by 2 sin 2 theta. Now I have sin omega t cos omega t. I will write it as 1 by 2 cos sin 2 omega t. I am sorry, this should be sin 2 omega t. Okay, I am extremely sorry for this. I think this happened in hurry. Okay, this is not. Okay, this is sin 2 omega t. Sin 2 omega t. Okay, 1 by 2 Im sin 2 omega t. But what I want to know, look here is, now observe, there is only one term in power equation, and that is also vector. Sin means vector, obviously. When sin comes, vector. When cos comes, vector. So P equals to minus half Im sin 2 omega t. So this is a vector term having the angular frequency twice the supply voltage. It is 2 omega, here it is single omega. So the angular frequency of this term is twice the angular frequency of the supply voltage. It means that the frequency of this wave is double the frequency of supply wave. That is the meaning. But power is scalar. Therefore, the power equation should be, the RHS of the power equation should be discarded. So my power equation becomes 0. P equal to 0. What does this mean now? So power consumed by the pure inductance is 0. power consumed by the pure inductance is 0. Now question is, where does all this power go, whichever I am giving? No doubt, when there is a source, voltage source, and when there is current flowing out of that source, this source is giving out some power. Current is flowing out of the source means it is giving out the power. Now power given by the source is there, but power consumed by the load or the inductance is not there. Then where does all the given power is going? The power consumed by the inductance is 0. It doesn't mean that power received by the inductance is 0. Inductance is still receiving the power, but this inductance is not consuming the power. What is you mean by consumption? Converting power to heat. Heat dissipation is consumption. Okay, heat dissipation is consumption. So the power consumed is 0, but the entire power given by the source to this inductance is stored in the form of electromagnetic energy surrounding this inductance. So the flux what we are saying it is existing, this flux is nothing but the result of this power flow. So surrounding the pure inductor, all the power given by the source is stored in the form of electromagnetic energy or electromagnetic field. So hence this inductance is a energy storage device. Resistance will not store energy. It will receive the current, dissipate into heat. Whereas inductance will receive the current, convert it into magnetic field. So the magnetic field is stored there. It is present there. Okay, as long as the current is there, there is a magnetic field. So the inductance is known as energy storage device. So all the power that is given by the source is stored in the form of electromagnetic energy by the inductor. Okay. So this is the supply voltage. Let this be the supply voltage waveform, okay, of Em sin omega t. Now see, look at the current here. What I told, in pure inductive circuit, current lags behind the voltage by an angle 90 degrees, or current is behind voltage by an angle 90 degrees. Now voltage is starting at omega t equal to 0. Voltage is starting at omega t equal to 0. Current will start after 90 degrees of voltage. This is called lagging nature. Okay, it is starting at 0 degrees. Voltage is starting at 0 degrees. Current is starting at 90 degrees after 90 degrees of voltage. So it is lagging. Therefore, the current is lagging behind the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. Now this is the power waveform. So voltage is existing from 0. Current is existing from 90 degrees. And power. Now you can observe. Voltage is positive, current is negative, power is negative. Voltage is positive, current is positive, power is positive. Voltage is negative, current is positive, power is negative. Voltage is negative, current is negative, power is positive. So the power is not in one direction. Unlike your pure resistance power, pure resistance power was only in positive direction. So the average power was positive there. Whereas the average power of this circuit is not positive, it is 0. Because in one cycle from 0 to, see, this is 0 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees. This one complete cycle. In one cycle of voltage, there are two cycles of power, because power equation is with sine 2 omega t. This is the meaning of double angular frequency. Okay. Now take the average power over one complete cycle. Minus value will negate with plus value, minus value will negate with plus value. So average power over a complete cycle in pure inductance is 0. It means that power consumed by pure inductance is 0. Okay. So this is the meaning of all those equations. Equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. Equation 1 indicates voltage, equation 2 indicates current lagging behind voltage by 90, equation 3 indicates the power. Okay. So power or average power consumed is 0. This is the nature of pure inductance. One more component is pure capacitance. The analysis will go in the same way as pure inductance. So pure capacitance, a capacitor connected in series with the source, only one source, one capacitor. So this is very simple capacitive circuit. Okay. Now we know that whenever I apply the voltage to capacitor, capacitor will hold some charges. It will get charged, and that charge is acquired from the voltage supplied. This charge Q is applied from the voltage supplied. Okay, so the amount of charge carried by the capacitor is always proportional to the amount of voltage supplied to the capacitor. Okay, so let the supply voltage be Vm sin omega t, reference value. The current drawn by the capacitor is, now when I apply this voltage, a current is flowing in the circuit. Now what is the value of current? What is the amount of current drawn by this capacitor? It is given by dq by dt, because current is very simply known as rate of flow of charge. Very simply known as rate of flow of charge. So I equals to dq by dt. So when I is equals to dq by dt, what is q now? Now q is proportional to voltage. Q is proportional to voltage, and Q equal to capacitance into voltage. If the capacitor of the capacitance is 0, if the capacitor don't have any capacity to hold the charge, even though there is supply voltage, the charge held on the capacitor is 0. So charge on the capacitor is always proportional to voltage and is given by equal to C into E, or capacitance into voltage. So capacitance is a constant. Okay, it is the constant of the component. So putting Q equal to CE in this equation, I get d by dt of CE or C dE by dt. Okay, but what is E? I have E equal to m sin omega t. So differentiation of sin omega t with respect to t is cos omega t into omega. C into Em cos omega t into omega. I will rewrite omega C Em cos omega t. Okay, so I will take the omega C in a different way, 1 over, or in the later stage we will do that. Now cos omega t is 90 plus omega t. Like I told, sine of 90 minus theta is also cos, sine of 90 plus theta is also cos. Okay, so cos will always coexist with sine, so only it is called as cosinusoidal. Okay, so I can write this cos omega t equal to sine of 90 plus omega t. And this omega c I will write as Em divided by 1 over omega c. So if you take mathematically, it is same. It is same as that of omega c. Okay, and that Em upon 1 over omega c, I will take it as xc, where xc is my capacitive reactance, whereas I will take Em upon xc as Im. Okay, Em upon xc as Im. Xc is 1 over omega c, that is 1 over 2 pi fc. Omega is 2 pi f. Okay, whereas f is the actual frequency, linear frequency, whereas if I multiply it with 2 pi, it becomes angular frequency. X is capacitive reactance, which is analogous to resistance. It is in ohms. Okay, that part is missed. X is capacitive reactance in ohms. Okay, now from equation 1 and 2, if you observe equation 1 and 2, the phase angle difference between voltage and current is 90 degrees. Okay, but it is omega t plus 90. So if it is plus 90, the current is ahead of the voltage. Current is ahead of the voltage, or current is leading the voltage. So in pure capacitive circuit, current will lead the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. So current is leading the voltage by an angle 90. So direction is upwards, that is anti-clockwise. So current is rotating, voltage is also, these two are rotating vectors. These two are rotating vectors. So current is leading the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. Okay. Instantaneous power again E equal to P equal to EI, or Em sin omega t, Im sin omega t plus 90. And again I will write this term as that of cos omega t. Same, I will do that. So sin omega t cos omega t is sin 2 omega t. Here I have written correctly. Okay, so 1 by 2 sin 2 omega t. Again you observe here, the power equation is consisting of only one term, which is vector, but power is a scalar. Therefore, I have to neglect the vector term of power equation. So RHS of the power becomes 0. RHS of power becomes 0. What does that mean? Now again, power consumed by the capacitor is 0. Now where does all the power given by the source is going? Definitely, it is storing in the form of static electric field across the capacitor plates. So all the power given by the source to capacitor is stored in the form of electrostatic field. So capacitor is also an energy storage device. Inductor stores energy in the form of magnetic field. Capacitor stores energy in the form of electric field. Okay, that is electromagnetic field. This is electrostatic field, because the fields are generated due to the effect of electricity. There is electricity flow, hence it is electromagnetic. There is electricity flow here, hence it is electrostatic. Okay, there is not compulsion that the electric field has to be established only through electrically. If I rub a glass rod with a silk material, there will be static charges. That is also electric field only, but it is not electrically done. It is done just by mechanical rubbing. In chemical reactions also, we get sometimes the anode and cathode charge distribution. That I can consider it as capacitor, but that is not electrically done. Okay, so because the energy is stored across capacitor electrically, it is electrostatically stored. Okay. Now when I see the waveforms, this is supply voltage equal to m sin omega t. Now Im sin omega t, it will start 90 degrees earlier to voltage. That is the meaning of leading, current leading the voltage. That is the meaning of current leading the voltage by an angle 90 degrees. Okay, now when I observe the power equation or power waveform, so voltage is positive, current is positive, power is positive. Voltage is positive, current is negative, power is negative. Voltage is negative, current is negative, power is positive. Again, you observe over a complete cycle, the average power is 0. Plus power negates with minus, plus power negates with minus. Over a complete cycle, the power is 0. So power consumed by the capacitor is 0. All the power given to the capacitor is stored in the form of electrostatic field, is stored in the form of electrostatic field. Okay, and all the power given to the pure inductor is stored in the form of electromagnetic field. Okay, so this is all about the pure R, pure L, and pure C circuit. Okay. I know that this is a fast track explanation, hoping that you knew already and you have gone through already the studied part of the subject. I took a little bit in a larger pace. Okay. I will be sharing this video to you. Once I upload this in the YouTube, I will be sharing this video to you. You can repeatedly watch this, and I don't think that there will be difficulty in understanding. Okay. I hope that my words were clear, my voice was audible. If you have any doubts over this, you are free to approach me at any point of time. You have my number in the group. Okay, recently I have joined your class groups, both ISC and CSC. Okay, you can contact me at any point of time. I will be clearing your doubts, okay, with respect to this or with respect to any other topic in basic electrical engineering. Okay, so please enter your USN and names in the chat box. That will be helpful for me to keep track how many students have attended. Okay, so my next lecture will be on tomorrow again at 11:30, same timing. Okay, so we'll end this today's session, and in tomorrow's class we will be looking into RL circuit. Okay, this is pure R, pure L, and pure C, what we have seen today. Now what happens when there is combination of resistance and inductance? When there is combination of resistance and capacitance, when there is combination of resistance, capacitance, and inductance when connected in series, when connected in parallel. Okay, so all these analysis will be doing in this module or in this session or section of the syllabus. Okay, hope the session was and thank you for joining the class.